All right, today on the channel we're going to take a look at the Anbernic RG28XX. Absolutely stupid name, but this is an amazing little emulation handheld device modeled after the Game Boy Micro. Let's go ahead and open it up, see what we have inside. It comes in colors. This is the white and purple variation. Probably the most atrocious colorway they have. There's also a black transparent and a standard gray one that looks much more in line with the standard Game Boy Micro. But this is a pretty small handheld device. It does have a lot of cool features and everything, but first and foremost you have to come to terms with the fact that yes, it is a small, very small handheld device. Inside the box we just get our little standard accessories, little instruction manual telling you how to navigate the menus, and inside this little box right here is our USB-C charging cable, and that's it. No frills, no thrills, but this little device is only $50. Emulates all your favorite home consoles, arcade machines, you name it. Has HDMI Out support. You've got a USB-C charging port right here as well. Connect a wireless controller and essentially make this a not only portable handheld device, but a gaming console on the go. We've got SD cards on the bottom there, preloaded with thousands of games. So let's go ahead and check out the layout here. We got X and Y, A and B buttons. They are pretty tiny. As you can see, adult thumb covers all four of them. Single speaker down here, D-pad. All the buttons feel nice, although this D-pad definitely gives me a little bit to be desired as far as its diagonal motion. It just feels very stiff when I'm trying to get those downward Hadouken type movements. We got a select and start on the bottom left-hand corner. USB-C charging, of course. We have our exit/mode button, our HDMI out, L1, R1, R2, L2. You'll notice these buttons right here are actually raised a little bit, but nice and clicky. Got volume up and down. Got a 3.5mm audio out. We got our SD card slot expansion as well. And we have our power and our reset button. So let's go ahead and power this bad boy up and check out some gaming. All right, here we have the user interface, and first and foremost, let's talk about the display. We got a IPS display, 640 by 480 resolution. Viewing angles are pretty good in my opinion. No real issues with color bleed or washout. User interface, pretty straightforward. You have your game rooms is what they call it. This is where all your ROM files are gonna be stored on the preloaded SD card. You go in there and you've got all your consoles pre-categorized. One nice feature on this thing is we have vertical arcade, so you can go in there and you get a little display image of each game, but you can actually rotate this handheld and control it and play vertical shoot 'em ups using the D-pad. Start and select become, your fire buttons. You can also use these buttons over here for whatever reason you want to play left-handed, right-handed. Nice, neat little feature. You got your arcade CPS 123, NEOGEO, Final Burn, MAME, so all your arcade, your home consoles, your Game Boy, your handheld devices. One thing that is notably missing from here is going to be Nintendo 64, which is A-OK in my book, especially just because of the configuration and the control layout. This is not really going to be an ideal situation for Nintendo 64 emulation. Little redundant, but you go over here and you got RetroArch, which basically does the exact same thing as the little first category that we opened up, albeit this has more emulators attached to it. So we have PSP. You got a couple of PSP games on here. Honestly, I really wouldn't play PSP games on this device. It's already a pretty small screen, and if you're doing the native 16:9 aspect ratio, it makes that 2.8-inch display even smaller because it gives you those black bars on top and bottom. You can, of course, stretch the image and make it full screen, but to each their own. You do have open bore, you have Dreamcast on here, which emulates very nicely. Overall, all the testing I did, I only found a few games that didn't necessarily perform. It's pretty much 95% compatible with everything I tested. There was like one PlayStation 1 game that I found odd that wouldn't play, but we've got a Thomas Wave and NEOGEO games performing admirably, so I don't know if it's just emulator settings or what, because if you're running a Thomas Wave or a Sega NEOGEO arcade game, and for whatever reason a PlayStation 1 game is stuttering, that leads me to believe that it's an emulator setup and not necessarily the power of the chipset. But once you load up a game, if you want to back out, you can hit that top button and it'll exit the menu. You can save favorites, you can save games, you can load save states, all the emulators no matter what. You can add your favorites, you can search for individual titles, and it starts getting weird over here in the App Center. Like you can load MP3s on here, you can load video files and play them. I don't know that anyone would ever honestly do that sort of thing. It comes preloaded with a video file of an orange version of this console that's a little bit silly, and of course ebook. I don't think anybody's gonna load an ebook file on here and actually sit on the beach and read or anything. I think predominantly everybody's gonna play this in handheld mode, but like I said, you can use the HDMI Out port, use this as a controller. It also has 2.4 gigahertz compatibility for wireless controllers, albeit that's not necessarily an easy thing to set up. If this had Bluetooth, this thing would be just an absolute knockout as far as a traveling companion, because then you could just HDMI out it to a TV, you could Bluetooth a gamepad, and then you could have an awesome console that plays all your favorite retro games, arcade games on the go. It does a great job of that in handheld mode, but like I said, once you do the HDMI out, this really still just becomes your controller of choice, because the 2.4 wireless setup for the controller is just kind of silly to do. They really should have added Bluetooth, but for $50, I mean, this thing is outstanding. So let's go ahead and check out some of the emulation, and you be the judge of if this is worth $50 or not. At the end of the day, $50, this is pretty much a no-brainer for a travel companion. If you are worried about size, then obviously this is not going to be something for you. Like I said, this is modeled after the Game Boy Micro, and it does fit that billing. It is a very small handheld. You can slide it in your pocket, put some headphones in, game on the train, the plane, in the car, you name it. Very, very cool. HDMI out, neat addition. Not necessarily a selling point in my opinion, just because we lack that Bluetooth compatibility. Controls feel good. If you're going to be playing any fighting games though, it's just not going to be a good experience. This D-pad is just not good enough for diagonal movements. You're going to try to do those quarter circle Hadoukens and you're going to struggle with it. So keep that in mind. But for $50, it is a very neat console. If you like what you saw and you're interested in picking one of these up, I'll put a product link in the video description box below. But that does it for this video. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button. Share this video with your friends if you found the information helpful. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Really means a lot.